Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll get started. If anyone else joins us, you can join in late. Okay, it's a quick formal introduction for those of you that don't recognize me. My name is Midhat. I'll be taking the session for today. And today, what we're going to be doing is, we're, of course, continuing with our Python course and going to be learning how to read and write from text files in Python. So I think I've gone over the check-in process. I mean, hopefully you've been doing this every week where you check in just so you know you've attended these sessions. And for anyone that's also watching the recording as well, you can also check in at home. So, just so we know you've watched the recording and you've partaken in the lesson as well. Just so, when you've completed it, get a certificate of completion at the end. Okay, and yeah, and I think just a quick reminder for submitting assignments. I think hopefully everyone should know how to do this. Um, yeah, so when you complete the Google form, you like paste the link to your GitHub page where the code is, so you can actually grade the assignments. If anyone's got any questions about this specifically, you can ask me at the end. And yeah, recordings. I think hopefully the recording should have been going out by now. So if you've missed any previous sessions, or if anyone's watching the recording today, you can watch all the previous sessions by catching up. They should get sent out by the email, especially if you've checked in as well. So hopefully everyone's getting those. If you're not, let me know. We'll sort it out at the end. Yeah, and then I think quick reminder about coding. If you're coding on a tablet or mobile device, you can use the Replit app. Again, I wouldn't recommend it. Try and use your computer or laptop if possible. But if you are coding on a mobile device, use the Replit app. Okay, so hopefully everyone should know where Replit and Trinket is, whichever one we're using. So I shouldn't need to go about that too much. So okay, so we're going to look at today's lesson objectives. So first, just build on what we've done in the previous weeks, and then we're going to learn about implementing sort of reading and writing to files that are saved on our device or externally, especially within Python, and we're going to be formatting the data within that file in some way or another. Okay, so the main idea is we're going to create a sort of like a diary system. So we're going to have a text file diary entry system where you can write a diary entry and specify a date that diary entry was for, and that will be written to a text file. And then from that text file, you can also read those diary entries and see when that diary entry was written, for example. And we can have a menu system based off that. So, the user can choose whatever option they want, and they can do that option. It's easier easier to see as we'll follow along. But yeah, so just a reminder, you're not expected to know everything that we cover. Just try and follow along as best as possible. You'll have option to ask questions at the end, and also we've got the drop-in session on the Saturday. You can come along and ask an instructor about that as well. Okay, yeah. So open up either Replit or Trinket. Hopefully by week 5, I think everyone should know what they're doing with that. And we're going to talk about first reading from text files and writing to text files. And the easiest way to just do that is, well, for me to just show as a demonstration. So hopefully everyone can see this. And we need to talk about reading and writing to text files. So I will just create a text file by clicking the plus icon on Trinket right here. If I just name it as, let's say, file.txt, and then inside this file, I'll just write some code. So let's say this is my first sentence, and let's say this is my second sentence. So in this text file, you can see called file.txt. I've got 2 different sentences in. And then in main.py, you can see that I switched between 2 tabs. In Replit, it will be very similar if you're using Replit. So what we can do is we can actually read the info from this text file in our Python code, even though we don't actually have this information directly within our code itself. To read information, what we need to do is we need to type with open, and then open brackets. In quotation marks, speech marks, I type in the name of the file. So you can see hopefully here, we've got file.txt. So if I type in file.txt right here, then a comma like this. So with open file.txt, and then another set of quotation marks. And then if I type in R within these quotation marks right here, so got with open file.txt R, which specifies read, and then I do as file like this, colon. What I can do then is actually start to read in the file. And to do that, what I need to do is I need to do file. So if I say, let's say data, yeah, no worries, submit. So just to add file.txt, hopefully you can see up here. If you're using Trinket like I am, it might be difficult to see, but hopefully you can see if I write an arrow to it, there's a plus sign right here. Hopefully you can see that. If you click that plus sign, you can add a text file. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then within that text file, you can write whatever information you'd like. Oh, I've spelled sentence wrong in my there. So you can see you can write whatever information you'd like there. Okay. Okay. And then so we're going to try and read the information from that text file. So we do with open file.txt, which is the name of whatever file we've made. R as file. I'll just call this, let's say, data as a variable and equals, and then I'll do file dot read lines like this and a set of brackets like that. Okay. So, and then what we can do is we can loop through. So we can do for, let's say, line in data, colon. We can actually print using the print function. We can actually print the data entries. And what we can do is we can do line dot strip like this with a set of brackets. And hopefully we should see that, yep, indeed we do. So you can see here, right here, we get our data that's printed out. That's from our file. So we actually don't have access to this information within our code, but because it's in an external text file and we've opened it like this, we've managed to print out the data as follows. Hopefully that makes sense. Just a quick thumbs up in the chat, or maybe I've gone too quickly and you want me to just repeat it a little bit. Yeah, Ada's giving me a thumbs up. Brilliant. Anyone maybe want me to go through it just one more time? Maybe a little bit slower this time, or we're all happy with it? Yeah, Anthony's happy with it. Okay. Okay. I think that's, yeah, just a quick recap. Yeah, so what we've done is we've just created a new text file by clicking the plus sign here, written some data inside, and then we've read that information within Python by doing with open, the name of the file, R. Yeah, so why do we use R? So R is specifying read. So if we want to read the information, we use R. There is actually, we'll go into this in a little bit. There's other things we can use instead of R, which we can use, we can write and among other things. But because we just want to read the information into the file, we use R to read it, and then as file, then data.file.readlines, which specifies that we read all the information within the text. And then for line in data, which is all the information in the file, we just print every single line out in Python, as we can see here. Okay. There's another thing we need to just note is what happens if we try to read a file that doesn't exist, let's say. So let's say I will delete this file. I can delete the file just by going to the gear icon right here and then click the delete button. That will delete the file. It's telling me that it's been deleted. So what happens if I try and read a file that doesn't exist? You can see I get an error and it says no such file or directory, file.txt. So instead of getting this error, we can actually try and just like get a proper error message behind it. So hopefully you should have seen try and accept before. So with try and accept, you can actually specify what type of error you're getting, and it helps with bug fixing. Yeah, so Anthony, yeah, at the moment we're just doing read only. Okay, if you haven't seen try and accept, don't worry too much. But all try and accept does is effectively, try basically means that you try to do something. So it will try and do this, and except is in the situation where it throws an error. So if I do try this or except, let's say file not found error, like so, I can print, let's say, the file that with that name does not exist. So this gives us some sort of meaning behind the error messages so we can actually see what happens. So if I try and run this now, you can see instead of getting the sort of error that we got now, basically what the code does is it tries to open the file, and if it can't and it gets the file not found error, it does this instead, and you can see that's printed instead. Hopefully that makes sense. Just quick thumbs up just to let me know that we're following. Yep, and I was following, okay. Yep, okay, brilliant. Okay, so yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Any particular questions about this, of course, you can ask me at the end as well. Yeah, so that's reading files, but of course, if I was to make a new file and then, call it file.txt again, so rename it from up here, file.txt, let's give it some words. Okay, hello, I don't know, for example, that's my new file, and try and read it this time, and you can see the data is printed like this. So yeah, so that's all about reading files, okay? Now we're going to go on to actually writing files now. So I'll just comment this out by just using multi-line code. So just ignore this for now. We'll go on to the next thing. So I've just used these comments, which is the same as just doing a hashtag. Hopefully you've seen the way you've got hashtags and you can see this is a comment. Are people familiar with sort of hashtags and comments? Is that if either thumbs down, thumbs up, if you are or aren't, or just a message in the chat. If you've seen it, if you've seen what hashtags, yeah. Adele's familiar, yes. Anyone else, or would you like me to explain what a hashtag does? You've seen hashtags, yeah. So yeah, effectively, this free quotation marks is basically as if you'd had a hashtag in front of everything. So it allows you, instead of doing a hashtag in front of every single line to comment it out, you can use these quotation marks and wrap everything around it. So this is not going to be read by the code. Okay, so I've just put this to one side now, and we're going to learn about actually writing to files. So there's two ways to write to files. You can either write to a file and overwrite it, or you can sort of append to it. And I'll show you what the difference between the two is. So the concept is exactly the same, but instead of R, you use W this time. So if I do with open, let's say file.txt. In fact, let me just copy this because it makes my life easier. With open file.txt as file, but this time I changed the R to W, and this allows me to actually write to the file. If I do so, if I then do file dot sorry, file dot write, and then we can specify any text that we want to. Let's say, so let's say I do hello. This is a sentence, for example. If I run this now, hopefully we should see that it runs. It doesn't actually print out an error message, but you can see the text that we had before. I think we had like hello, car, and house or something. That has been overwritten by the text we've specified here with file.write. Okay. Let's say this is another sentence. If I run this again, see it's finished running. And you can see we've overwritten the file with this is another sentence. So you can see this W has just rewrites the file with whatever text we specify here in file.write. Hopefully that makes sense. That clear for everyone? Just a quick thumbs up. So we sort of understand what the difference between R and W here and how we can read and write to files. Quick thumbs up. If not, I'll go through it once more, maybe a little bit slower. if anyone wants me to explain it again, please let me know. Yeah, Anthony's giving me a thumbs up. Brilliant. Yeah, and if you've just joined, try and follow along for now as best as possible. Of course, the recording will be going out after the session, so you can try and watch the recording back as you can. But I'll have some questions I'll have time for questions at the end as well. Just try and follow along as best as you can as possible for now.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Okay, so that's reading to files. So we've got reading and writing to files, and then there's another character which I want to go over, which is called append. So appending is slightly different. So when we saw when we had W that this rewrote whatever we had at the start. So if I had append, I said that, let's say I write this is my first sentence, let's say. I do write, if I run this, you can see in my file once it runs, you can see this is my first sentence. And then let's say if I want to write my second sentence, this is my second sentence. So you can see already I've got a sentence here, but I've changed W to A here. I run this again. And once this finishes running, and you can see it's actually appended the second sentence to the first sentence. Okay, and you can see it's actually appended it right at the end. What we actually forgot is the new line character. Hopefully you've seen the /n before, and that allows us to add a new line. So effectively, let me delete this actually. You can see this is my second sentence. I've added a new line character. Actually, this won't work either. Let me go back. Let me delete everything. So let's say this is my first sentence. Let's say first sentence. Okay, not see new line. Okay, new line. It basically just means, okay, it's probably easier just to show this what happens. So you can see this is my first sentence. So before, you can see when we wrote to the text that both sentences were just sort of joined together. With the /n character, this allows us to start a new line. So you can see if I do this is my first sentence, run it, and then that should have run. So yeah, that's my first sentence. And then if I do this is my, let's say, second sentence, and I run it this time, you should see that instead of the sentences being joined together like this, you can see that now with the new line character, which is /n, you can see that these have been written across two lines instead of, it was like this before. Okay. So just a quick recap of what we've covered. So we've done, I guess, 3 things. So first thing is reading from text files with R and using file.readlines to read. And then second thing we did was just writing and overwriting what was there before with W. So this overwrites whatever is in your file with W. And then we've done appending, which adds the new text to whatever text was here before. So it doesn't rewrite everything that was there beforehand. Okay. Hopefully it's all clear so far. Any particular questions before we move forward? I think, Adele, you've got a question about your code. I'll have a look at your code, actually. Let's have a look. Let's see if it works on my end.
I got a response.
Okay, you got a response.
But
I think it was
missed out, I missed out, how did you do that this gets into the first, second line?
Oh, okay.
So now it's next to each other's.
Oh, it's next to each other. Okay, I'll go through that once more time. If it's next to each other, remember it's just this character, so the /n. So it's next to Z on my keyboard, the /E.
But I added these backs to second.
Oh, you might need to delete the code. You might need to delete things from beforehand because it won't rewrite it. I think that's probably why.
Okay.
Yeah. Delete it and then try it again. That's probably the reason.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the main thing. So I will comment this out because I think we'll go through one more thing with like theory questions. So we've done this part. I'll leave. Let's say I'll leave this here. Just for anyone that needs it. Okay, and we'll go on to the next thing, which we're looking, because we're trying to make like a, I guess, a logging system. Um, we're going to use something called a date time. Why is there, yeah, is slash, like just slash not enough? Yeah, I think, yeah, it's just the way that things are in. So slash n just means that it's a new line. So if you had this, I think it will throw an error. Let's see if I run it. Actually, no, it's not going to run because it's commented out, of course. So if I did this, if you actually try this, it will throw an error. So you can see here, error. So you need the slash n, otherwise it will throw an error like it has done here for me. It's just the way it is. Okay. So yeah, we'll go on to the next thing, which is we'll talk about, I guess, using the date and time. So we'll start with something called importing date time. Hopefully you should see, I think last week you did something called importing hashlib, something similar. So we're importing an external library. So we use import datetime. And from this, we can actually find today's date. So if I, let's say, do date is equal to datetime dot date, and then dot today dot strf, I think strf time, I believe. And then if I do the date format that I want, so if I do quotation marks, percentage sign d dash percentage sign m dash, oh no, then dash percentage sign y, and that will give us actually today's date. So if I actually print this, if I print the date like this, hopefully we should see we get today's date, which is, yeah, 20th of May 2024, like this. And of course, if you're sort of someone that uses the month before the day, you can switch these around, or the year before. You can switch these around if you need to. But I'm gonna go month, day, month, year, because that's how I use it. So yeah, so that gives us today's date. Hopefully this makes sense. So we do need to do import date time, then we do date is equal to datetime dot date dot today dot strf time, then speech marks, percentage sign d hyphen colon m, percentage sign m dash year. So date, month, year, and then if we print the date, we can get today's date. Hopefully that makes sense. Just quick thumbs up, just to make sure everyone's following. Yeah, Adele's got it. Yep. Can you get words instead of numbers? I believe so. So words, yeah, I believe you can. I don't know exactly how. I mean, I would need to read the documentation. I can have a, I'll have a read through the documentation at the end, and then I'll get back to you. But there definitely is a way of doing it. I'm not sure how. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think hopefully everyone's got it so far. So yeah, these are the three things we've done. So basically we've done reading to files like this, writing to files, appending to files, and then of course getting the date time. Oh, it's not what I wanted. Let's go back. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this is what we've got. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put what we've sort of done and trying to actually make a sort of diary entry system. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this for now, and then we're going to use what we've done to make a sort of diary entry system. It's probably easier if I actually show you what we're expected to do. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let me show you what we're expecting. So I'll show the final code first. You can ignore the final code for now. We'll go through that in ourselves. But hopefully we can see here, this is what we're going to have at the end. So we're going to have the enhanced diary entry menu system. So so in our menu, we're going to have three different options. We can enter a number to sort of either add a new diary entry, view the previous diary entries, or quit. So let's say I want to add a new diary entry. I press 1, and it says enter the date for your diary entry in this format, or just press enter and leave blank to use today's date. So if I just want to use today's date, we'll enter our diary entry. So this is my first diary entry, let's say, entry. And you can see diary entry has been saved successfully. Then if I click 2 to view the previous diary entries, and then you can see this is from a few days ago. So we've got diary entries from before, and this is my diary entry that I've just entered from today. And then if I, let's say, want to enter another diary entry, so let's say I enter, oh, I think my code is frozen. Let me restart it. If I want to add another diary entry, let's say we want to use today's diary date. Let's say this is another diary entry. And you can see diary entry has been saved successfully. If I press view previous diary entries, you can see that this is the one we've added first, and we've got another one which we've got from today. This is another diary entry, for example. Okay, and then if we press 3, we can actually quit, and it can say exits code, and it leaves us. And you can see these diary entries are actually saved to the diary.txt file. So we're basically just reading from the txt file and just writing to the txt file. So we're just taking the concepts we've just talked about, and we're making this sort of software right here. Okay. So ignore the code for now. We'll go through this step by step. So I think this is my code. Yeah, here we are. So we'll basically go on and try and make this ourselves. So I think the easiest way to start is start off with the menu just to make sure it works. So I might go a little bit quickly. Try and follow along as best as you can, and then I'll have time for questions at the end. So we'll start with a menu. So what I'm going to do is a while true loop first. So we'll use while true like this. And then we're going to start by, let's say, printing our options for the menu. So let's say we'll start with this. I'll start with a new line, let's say, and let's say this is our menu. Print. We've got, let's say, option 1, which is, let's say, /n. Let's say option 1, which is add a new diary entry. Add a new diary entry. Our next thing, which is going to be option 2, which is view existing diary entries. And then option 3 will be, let's say, quit, for example. Okay. And then hopefully this, this is going to print things out multiple times. So I'm going to stop that. Yeah, okay, that's working for now. Okay. Oh, going to need to refresh the page because I couldn't have done that. That's maybe crashed my system, which isn't great. Yeah, so you definitely could do all the instructions without printing on one line. I think it's just easier for me just to do that. Actually, you don't actually need the /n when you've got print like this. It will just print normally. Okay. Yes. Okay, there we go. So we've got this for now. So we've got the interest. Then we want to ask the user for their choice. So let's say we create a variable called choice, and then we ask for the user's input. So we do input like this. Let's say, please choose the option that you want. And we ask the user to choose, and then this should this time. And you can see we've got a menu here, and it will tell us to, we can enter a number, and it would do something. Well, obviously it doesn't do anything yet, but we can enter a number, it will do something, and then the new menu sort of pops up again. So we've got that. Okay. So please choose the option you want. And then we need to do something with our choice. So you can say if the choice is equals 1, let's say, we can see, let's say, I'm just going to use print statements just for now, just to make sure everything's working and we sort of test everything's going along. So let's say you have add a new diary entry like this. Let's say I'm going to use elif choice equals 2, like this. Let's say you have chosen to view the existing diary entries like this. And then LF, let's say choice is equals 3. You have chosen to quit. Goodbye. That's it. And then in the case that the user sort of enters a number that isn't 1, 2, or 3, say Fred, you have chosen a wrong number. Try again. So hopefully this is just I guess just a template for our menu for now. We'll add some stuff into here, particularly for this. But the sort of quitting and the wrong number should work. Actually, I should add a break here, right here. So this will allow us to quit the system. So for example, we should just check that this system sort of works, hopefully. So you can see we've got options to either add a new diary entry. So at the moment, it will. This should be. Wait, hold on. This should be with speech marks, actually. That's my mistake. So if I choose 1 here, so it says that's why we test things. So you can see we have chosen to add a new diary entry like this, and we will add the code to add a new diary entry a little bit later. If we, let's say, pick option 2, you have chosen to view the existing diary entries. We'll add the code here for a little bit later. If I choose, let's say, a different option, let's say I ended up picking number 4, it will say I've chosen the wrong number. And then if I choose number 3 to quit the system, and you can see it says we have chosen to quit, goodbye, and it quits the system and the code. You need to restart the code again. Okay, I know I've probably gone through this quite quickly, but this is the sort of template for our menu system. I'll give everyone maybe just a few minutes just to copy this down. Once you've done it, just give me a thumbs up and just let me know. Just to let me know once you've done it. Just remember the speech marks around 3 or the numbers, which I forgot to do, and this break statement, which allows you to leave the menu at the end. Yeah, once you've done it, just please do let me know with just a thumbs up or just a message in the chat. Either one works. Yep, got Adele's done it. Brilliant. Yeah, Anthony as well. Fantastic. Okay, does anyone need maybe another couple minutes, or are we happy to move on? Just let me know, just, either unmute yourself, just let me know, or just drop me a message in the chat, we need a few more minutes. Okay, for those of you that may be finished, just make sure you do test your system, just make sure it works and you can choose the right option menus. We'll wait a couple more minutes just for anyone that is just waiting. Yeah, something else works, brilliant.
Could we continue?
Okay, I'll just wait maybe just one more minute, just in case anyone
Okay.
else is picking up, and then we'll just continue. Yeah, just 30 more seconds, and then I will continue. Okay, I think what we'll do is we will continue then. So we've done sort of the actual menu system, and now we'll actually do the adding of the diary entries. So what I will do is remove this print statement because you don't actually need to. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually create a function that will do the adding of the entries for us. If you haven't seen functions before, functions are just something that allows us to um, do things in blocks of code and reuse them. So what I'm going to do is just under choice equals one, when we want to use a add a diary entry, I'm going to add the function call, which is called add entries. You can name this whatever you'd like, just make sure it has two brackets like this at the end. And then I'm going to define the function like this. So to define a function, you do def add entries like this. Again, I've called it add entries here. You're welcome to call it whatever you like. Brackets like this, and then a colon after, and this will create our function, which we'll write some code here, and that will effectively get like pasted into here because we've got a function that does exactly that. So we'll add this, and the first thing we want is we want the user to either input the date that they want to add the entry for, or get them to use today's date. So let's say we want the date, let's say is, and we want to ask the user to add the date that they want. So let's say enter the date for the diary entry. Just to give them a hint, I'll give them, let's say, the format that the date would be in. So let's say I do day, let's say month, like that, and year, like so. Or let's say leave blank to use today's date like this, like that. So either the user can enter the date in this format for whatever they'd like, or leave blank to use today's date. So we've got that. And then if they want to use today's date, we need to use our import date time that we had from earlier. So import date time. And what we do is if date is blank, so if the date is blank, so I use speech marks to indicate that something's blank like this, we can set the date to today's date. And if you remember, we do that with if datetime dot time, sorry, not datetime dot time, datetime dot date dot today, like this, and then we'll set a brackets, then strf time, like this, open brackets, and then we write center sign d dash m, so like m, like dash year, like this. Okay, and so basically either the user enters the date, or if we leave it blank, then we get today's date like this using our date time. Okay, and then what we can do is then we ask the user to actually enter their entry. So strf, I think Andrew may have joined a little bit late. So strf time is what we did earlier, and that just gets today's date in this format. So date, month, year from the external library that is date time right here. Okay, so it just gets today's date effectively. So yeah, so we do that, and then we ask the users to actually input. So let's say enter the diary. Let's say enter the diary entry you want to enter. Oh yeah, let's say it like that. Oh, so like this. That will give us the entry. And then what we need to do is, actually this should come after this, like this. So make sure that this has a space here, but this one doesn't. Just be very careful with that. Otherwise it will otherwise you can get some errors. And then what we need to do is we actually need to write this to our entry. So like remember the way we write things is we do if with open. And let's say I'm going to call this diary.txt. And we want to append, not overwrite something. So we want to add diary entries one after the other, not delete all the diary entries before with the new diary entry. So we use append as file, and then colon. So we do with open diary.txt. We had file.txt earlier. Let me just delete this. I don't think we'll need it right now. So diary.txt as file, append, and then we can do file.write colon. I'm going to use something called f-string formatting. So I use f colon squiggly brackets, which is next to the P on my keyboard. And then you need to hit shift for the shift and then the squiggly brackets. And I can write, let's say the entry is at this time dash, and then like this date, like this. And make sure you close the speech marks like this. So this basically writes to our txt file, diary.txt, the entry and the date it was written at. Okay, and then that should be it. And then let's say I'll just add a message at the end. Let's say, diary entry was written successfully. hopefully. If you've done everything correctly and you run it. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's why we check things. I've missed the second equals here. Yeah, okay, this time, so choose the option you want. So we've just added the option to add a new diary entry. So if I press 1 right here, it says enter the date for the diary entry, day, month, year, or leave blank to use today's date. So if I just want to use today's date, and it says and enter diary entry you want. So let's say this is my first diary entry, like so. If I hit this, and you can see diary entry was written successfully. In fact, it's actually made the diary.txt file already, and you can see this is my first diary entry, and it has actually done it for us for today's date, like this. And let's say we want to add another diary entry, but from beforehand. So let's say add a new diary entry this time. Please, let's say we want to add, let's say something from, let's say 4 days ago. Let's say I write the date from 4 days ago, which was the 16th, like so, and enter that. Oh, it says decided to freeze. Let me try again. Let's say 16, 5, 24, and then enter diary entry one. This, let's say this is another diary entry. And it said this diary entry has been written successfully. You can see the date we provided was the 16th. And you can, yeah, I've forgotten this again. So the diary entry is from 16th. So what we should be doing is we should be adding a new line character here, which I've forgotten to do, if you remember that. So we add a new line character there. Yeah, this is where we test things, just to make sure everything works properly. So let's go back, delete that, and restart it. So new diary entry, please choose the option that you want. Let's say 16th, 5th, 24, 15th. Yeah, and then this is my first entry. Let's say, you can see that's been written. There we go. That's on the 15th. And then this time, let's check again, just to make sure our new line is working. Say we use today's date. This is my second entry. And again, this diary entry has been written successfully again. And there we go. This time it does work. And you can see we're getting new lines this time. Okay. Second entry. And then of course we can quit if you want, and we can quit. You can see that works like this. Okay. So our adding entries has worked. So what we've done is we've written this code as in a function, and we've called the function within the choice right here. Yeah, so again, I'll give everyone maybe just 2 minutes just to do that. I know we're sort of running out of time a little bit, so just 2 minutes. If you are a little behind, try and watch the recording back, or you can stay back and I'll ask you some questions about it if you want. But for those of you that get things done a little bit quicker, we'll move on in about 2 minutes or so. So if you haven't copied it down already, got about 2 minutes to do so. Okay, I will move on now, seeing as we're sort of running out of time a little bit. If you haven't managed to complete it, you can either stay back and ask me a few questions about it, or try and watch the recording back if there's any issues with it. Okay, so we've managed to add the diary entries. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually view the diary entries, which is a little bit easier, in fact. So let's say we create another function here. So I deleted the print statement we had on the choice equals 2. Let's say we call this view entries, and then create another function like so. Def view entries like this. Then same thing as beforehand. You just need to actually open the file. So all we need to do is actually we should have a try and accept if we if we want to be just proper bug fixy with it. So with open let's say diary.txt. Let's say, and then this time because we're just reading, we can just do R like this, and then as file, just like we've done before. And let's say we can say, let's say entries is equal to file dot read lines like this. Then we can loop through the entries like we did in our previous example. So for entry in entries, so entry in entries here, you can just do so we can just do print and then just let's say entry.strip just to read every single line. And then we should complete our except, let's say, with a file not found error. And we can just say, let's say this time, no diary entries were found. Like this. Actually, I think there is also a chance actually that entries don't exist. So if entries like this, basically all I'm doing here is just, because there's also a chance if we have no diary entries and this is blank, that we basically print nothing. So I've implemented a check here. So if entries exist, we print the diary entries, and otherwise we just say no diary entries are found. No diary entries were found here as well. Okay, and I think that should be it for the viewing diary entries. Let me just double check. So let's say we want to view the existing diary entries. Let's say we put 2. And you can see here we get this printed out exactly as follows. So we can view our previous diary entries that we've added. And then, if we, let's say, add a new diary entry by pressing 1, let's say we use today's date. This is my 3rd entry. Let's say entry. Nope, not typing. And you can see another diary entry was written. And then if we view this, and you can see our new entry has been written as follows. Okay, and then we quit. And let's just implement a check just in case. Let's say we delete all our diary entries like this and just double check that in the event that we have no diary entries. So if I press 2 here and we have no diary entries, as you can see here. Oh, no, I didn't need to do that there. Okay, but you can see here exactly as we want. You can see no diary entries are found because the diary entry list is empty. But if we add a diary entry, I don't know, entry, and now view it, you can see we get another diary entry like this. Okay. I think that is mostly it for today. I will leave this up for a second just in case anyone needs to copy it down for just a few minutes. So these are the 2 functions that we have, and then in the choice we just have add entries and view entries instead of the print statements that we had beforehand. Okay, I'll just leave this up for maybe just 2-3 minutes and then we'll just wrap up. if you've already managed to do it, quick thumbs up just to let me know that you've done it. Otherwise I'll just leave this up for maybe 2, 3 minutes, just in case anyone needs to copy it down. Yeah, okay, Anthony, you've got it. Brilliant. Yeah, and just leave it up for 2, 3 minutes before we sort of wrap up then. Okay, I will stop here. I mean, just hopefully everyone's either managed
Uh,
to, or do you
I could
just
you
need?
please check my code for a
Yeah,
second
yeah, no
because
worries.
there is
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, no worries. If you just paste it into the chat, hopefully I can have a look. Uh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you mind if we just wrap up first? I'll have a look at it. I'll have a look at it at the end. So just while you paste it in the chat, I'll just wrap things up, and just set the assignment for this week. And you can stay back a little bit at the end. Okay, I think that's all we've done today. So yeah, so we've had a look at doing the diary entry system that we've done. Um, there's just a few slides about adding, uploading your code to GitHub. I think hopefully by this week you should all know how to do it. If there's any issues with this, feel free to stay behind. Um, and you can ask me about it. Just the assignment. Just one thing. This basically the assignment for this week is effectively the same as what we've done. It will just be a error logging system instead of a diary entry system. So in fact, if you've managed to get the code working for today, it should be very similar. All you need to do is just start with a menu, display a menu of options. You can either log a new error, view all the previous errors, or quit the program. Then depending on what option you choose, you should either be able to log a new error message by inputting the message, which is then saved to a text file with a timestamp, just like we did with the diary entries. And then when viewing all the error messages, the program should read from the text file and then display each message. And then you should just have some sort of error handling. So, if the user enters a wrong number that isn't within the choice, like we did here with our code, not this one, like we did here within our code. So for example, if they enter the wrong number, they should try again, for example. So it should be very similar to this code, but just with an error logging system. Also, just a reminder, of course, we do have the Saturday 10 a.m. session on Zoom, so you can obviously go there, ask any questions you have, either about sessions or about the assignments, or even something tech related in general. That's not an issue. Okay, and yeah, and then I think that's mainly it. Of course, hopefully you should have access to the community page. If you aren't already on there, you can obviously ask questions on there as well. So if you go to here, hopefully you should have access to this page. You can obviously drop a message in here. I know we've had a few messages in here, so if you just create a post, ask a question if you need to, you can do that. And then of course, I mean, with the assignment page, you should obviously hopefully know about the Notion page. I think this week's assignment will also be added as well. If anyone hasn't been added to, I know I've got some messages about it. I will sort of help you guys out with that at the end, or you can obviously come along to the Saturday sessions and we can help you there. Any particular issues, you can also drop us an email. I don't know if the email's on the slides. You drop us an email at this address, hello@coding. Yeah, I've put our email into the chat. So if you need to contact us throughout the week, there is also an email there. If you're not getting, let's say, the recordings or anything specific along those lines, also drop us an email there. We'll be able to forward it to you from that way. I'm not sure if there's anything else. Yeah, I think Ingrid, you've also asked me a question. Is the Zoom link same for the Saturday session? I don't believe so. Okay. So wait, hold on. 1 second. Yeah. So if your emails aren't getting answered, I will try and chase that up for you. Alternatively, have you been able to get onto the lift page on the code on our website? Okay. I'll sort anything else out at the end. For those of you that have managed to get everything done, have no further questions, feel free to go. I'll use this time to sort of answer any questions that anyone has or any issues that they're experiencing. But I think that's it for today. Thank you all for coming. I know Adele, I will have a look at your code as well. But for everyone else, thank you for coming. I hope hopefully you will see you guys next week. Okay, Adele, I think I'll just have.
think it's working now.
Is it working now? Okay,
Yeah, because I think line 15 was wrong because is read less was and not read lines.
Yeah, it's read less. Yeah, so I think if you change this to read lines, we should see that it works now. Yeah, it looks like it works. Okay, brilliant. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, no worries.
Bye.
Okay, all right, bye. Okay, Ingrid.
Have a nice day.
All right,
Bye-bye.
you as well. Bye. Ingrid, your email wasn't answered. Okay.
So yeah, I'm so I think there must be somewhere in there, someplace that my email is different than what is given. So if you could just maybe ask someone to
maybe
I mean, I get an email from Faisal about the code, so that there is a record of my email.
Yeah.
I just don't know why I don't know why I haven't been getting let me just check what email he uses. Yeah, it seems to be. It's funny because I get the Zoom link for the coding.
Yeah,
I think this is a longer conversation. I know we have a few other people in the chat that probably have questions. Is it possible that someone can contact me and we can just quickly go through what the problem could be? I tried the chat. I tried the sort of the sort of side chat help. I tried email, and it's yeah.
Do you mind forwarding your email address? Just put the email address in the chat, and then I can get Faz to follow you up on.
Okay, I'll send my email. I'll send my email address just to you. Just 1 second, because
that's probably the easiest way. I'll get Faz to chase you up on it. Okay, that's probably the easiest way to do things.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has any further questions. I mean, if you have no further questions, you feel free to leave, of course. Um, yeah, yeah. Thanks. Okay, I will ask Faz to chase you up on that. You can obviously, hopefully, you should be able to. Yeah, once he chases you up on it, you should be able to like, sort through whatever issues you're having. Hopefully.
Yeah, I have a load of homework that I wanted to submit, but it's
Yeah.
sort of been kind of piling up, and
Yeah. I think is it just, could you not get access to the Saturday sessions? Is that the
And I've been away every single weekend, and not with
Okay.
any. So I've not been able to do the Saturday sessions. This weekend is going to be the first one where I
Okay.
can and so that's why I'm here. I want to make sure that I can access the Saturday sessions.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I think that would, yeah. So I'll get Faz to sort of chase you up on that. Just watch. I'll drop him a
As
message.
long as I can get onto the Saturday session and I get
Yeah.
and I get the link, then I will. But I don't want to sort of on Saturday suddenly be faffing around for it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's not to worry. Yeah, I will. Yeah, hopefully Faz will get on that. I will ask him about it. But if you're getting, I don't know if the Saturday sessions, I don't know if the link to that is in the email he sends out every week. I believe it should be.
I just got the email from Faz today because I asked him what's the link for today. So
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So maybe he can just contact me and we can go through things.
Okay, sure. All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do things. Okay. I will, yeah, I'll get chase Faz up on it. Hopefully it gets sorted by next week. Otherwise, I think whoever's taking the session next week, just try and chase them with that. But hopefully you should be able to check the Saturday session.
All right. No, lovely. Thank
yeah.
you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. Any final questions from anyone else? If not, I think we will end the meeting here. Okay,
all right. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
Take that as a note. All right. Those of you that are still here, bye everyone. I'll hopefully see you at another session at some point.